storyline heading into that Game 6, and that is the health of Tyrese Haliburton. With just under 7 minutes left in the first quarter of last night's game, as you can see here, he appeared to tweak the right leg injury that's been bothering him since Game 2. Now, Tyrese did play 34 minutes, but he was clearly limited in this game. As we say hello to our senior insider, Shams Charania. Shams, with the Pacers now facing elimination here, what can you tell us about the status of Tyrese Haliburton?
Malika, the belief is that Tyrese Haliburton has strained his right calf, and I'm told he will undergo an MRI to determine the exact severity of this strain. And remember, this is the same leg that he had ankle soreness in last week. He was adamant after Game 5 that he would be playing in Thursday's Game 6 of the NBA Finals. It is the NBA Finals, but it was described to me today that if this were the regular season or even the first round, there's doubt that he would play. So once the Pacers and Haliburton get the results back on this MRI, on that calf strain, they're going to be able to identify the severity and then huddle and map out exactly what the plan will be going into Game 6.
Okay, Shams, we will stay tuned certainly for an update on just how severe that calf strain is, but it is a right calf strain here for Tyrese Haliburton. Shams, thank you so much for that insight and information as we welcome you back to set here. Brian Windhorst, Sinead Gumake, Kendrick Perkins. I'm going to start with you here, Brian. A calf strain, that's not really what you want to hear.
Right, so one, it sort of frames the explanation of why he struggled so much last night, because this is obviously an injury that significantly impacts your ability to push off on it. And we saw he basically stopped going inside the paint. Secondly, while this is an elimination game in the finals, it's a game that you've waited your whole life to play. You've got to be extremely careful with this type of injury. And, you know, don't jump ahead of the situation. You see what the MRI shows. You hear what the doctors say. But this is a big, big moment for the Pacers in their hopes of making a comeback here.
And I know, man, like, you don't never know when you're going to get back to the finals. Like, every player, you know, you don't want to take this moment for granted, but I'm going to give them some advice early. If they saying it's a calf strain, sit out. Same advice I gave to Kevin Durant my first year working at ESPN and covering the finals. You remember that, Wendy?
I do, very clearly.
Bob Myers was the GM.
Sadly.
Bob was actually mad at me for that because I told him, forget what the franchise is telling you, sit out. And then what happened a few games later when Kevin Durant came back?
You were saying it that day.
That day, he tore his Achilles, and that's how severe it is. So, you know, I would rather him, you know, his health is more important, but you can't go out there in the NBA Finals against this Oklahoma City Thunder team and if you're not 100% or even close to 100% because them killers are waiting. And they're moving up and down fast pace. If I'm Tyrese Haliburton and the Pacers, I sit them out and I just rock with my guys in the belief so that way they can already have their mind made up.
Yeah, and if that is the decision that is to be made when it comes to Game 6, there's no shame in that. He's already proven so much throughout the course of this playoffs. 4 game-tying or go-ahead type of buckets that really created a legendary postseason run. He has put in the work, and it has shown on the biggest of stages. No longer overrated. Now he can say he's made it to the NBA Finals. He's done his job. But I do believe, and we saw this yesterday, it's not just the physical of a calf strain, it's also the mental, knowing that it could become to something worse, you know, that you absolutely hope you avoid. So overall, I'm like, you know what? Do what's best for you in this situation.
Right now, we don't know the severity, as Shams just reported, of this calf strain. And Kevin Durant was dealing with something obviously very severe. So we don't know necessarily if it's an apples-to-apples comparison here. But Tyrese Haliburton said after the game, again, without any imaging or that sort of insight, he said, if I can walk, I can play, Brian.
Yeah, and look, I think this is a situation where it may come down not only to what the doctors say, but how he feels on Thursday night.
Yeah.
You know, does he feel like he can go out there and be, a weapon? Last night, he really was a ball mover and a floor spacer. He wasn't much of a weapon in this game. And I know that there was a lot of conjecture afterwards about whether he should have finished this game or whether it should have been T.J. McConnell, who was having a spectacular game. They're going to go with their star. They're going to go with what he wants. And I don't think they probably regretted even having this information today.
And I think even having this information is better for them because now Rick Carlisle can game plan knowing he's not 100% if he's out there. And you can also give him a run and realize, okay, maybe he's not there. We can go back to our system. Because for most of the game, he had 0 field goals, 3 quarters, 0 field goals, and they were still able to cut that to a 2-point lead. So there's still hope and optimism on the Pacers still being able to compete.
And like last night, he said after the game, I'm playing in Game 6, but we saw him leaving the podium. He was limping, right? Yeah. Like, it brought me back to when I tore my ACL in the 2010 finals, right? Like, I was begging behind the scenes to try to play on the tour in ATL, real talk, because I wanted to be in that moment. And I'm not lying. Like, I was asking the doctor, like, you sure it's not a knee brace?
Right.
Like, the swelling, it feels great. Like, that's just the competitive nature. Like, you just want to be in that moment, especially in the NBA final.
And again, I want to be careful that we don't make a jump to something that hasn't happened yet without knowing the severity of exactly what Tyrese Halliburton is dealing with. I really appreciate your insight. You know this game and this stage better than anyone of us sitting up here. Chiney, you dealt with a fair amount of injuries in your career. What do the next 2 days look like for Tyrese Halliburton?
Rest, recovery, and just testing things out, because you still want to be engaged. When you're playing at this level, you're still wanting to make sure that you're on sync. Like, people come in, they get shots. Like, they just want to keep the rhythm together. But again, I believe if he does choose to play, you'll see in the first few moments whether he's got it or he's not.
Right.
But at least they have a game plan knowing those are the 2 options.
It's just hard because, I mean, we're just waiting to see how severe it is. Yeah. But it is a calf strain, right? And those soft tissue injuries don't just heal up like in the next 48 hours. There's no Toradol shot you can get in the backside that's going to relieve that pain when it comes down to those type of injuries. So, again, do I want to see him on the floor? Yes, but I want to see him on the floor where he's actually able to produce. Right? And if he can't go out there and be the best version of him, especially against this young Oklahoma City Thunder team, then you got to go with your have faith in and saying next man up.
Right. And we've seen it a couple of times in this postseason, unfortunately. I think back to Steph Curry. I think to Aaron Gordon, who did play on a calf strain that he's been dealing with intermittently. Ja Morant as well. So we will continue to update you as we know more about this situation surrounding Tyrese Halliburton. I don't know that, though, is when the Indiana Pacers lost this game. Jalen Williams and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they were playing like they were snatching this one and not giving it back last night. This duo was absolutely sensational. I don't know if we appreciated it enough in the moment, Sinead, but 10 years from now, we may be looking back and saying this is one of the best 1-2 punches we've seen.
Yeah, this is when the duo, the stars, were born. This was a moment of arrival, announcement, an introduction for J-Dub, one of the 2 players to be all NBA on both offense and defense. And there, that's my favorite words, and one son.
0 to 60 in 4.47 seconds. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander going to work here over Pascal Siakam. Elevates. That is such a tough shot, Perk.
Man, that's what he do. The mid-range assassin, right? Coming in, doing what he do best. SGA, tough shot maker.
More like
driving kick by Luke Dort.
More like 0 to 71.
Well, SGA and J-Dub, they combined to score or assist on 49 of OKC's 59 first-half points. And then Tyrese Halliburton, of course, he struggled in this one. We now know that this is in part due to injury, but it is his first career playoff game with 0 made field goals. He just wasn't able to be the Tyrese Halliburton that we've all grown accustomed to. Some of his teammates, though, they picked him up to make this game a little bit closer late, Brian.
Believe it or not, TJ McConnell was the Pacers' best weapon in the paint. He kept getting in there and getting those angles that he has expertly mastered over the years.
But it didn't hurt when someone was able to at least knock down a 3 here and there.
Man, they have my blood pressure going through the roof. TJ McConnell 13 in the third, Pascal 14 in the fourth. We thought maybe we'd see another game 1 situation.
You know what? I was feeling okay. I was like, oh, maybe I wasn't so nuts. And then Jalen Williams said, you know what? Again, we had questions about J-Dub at every point throughout these playoffs, and he doubled down in his work. Again, the points off turnovers, that's another battle where the Oklahoma City Thunder just dominated, Brian.
Stunning stat. They had 27 steals and blocks combined.
It would be
27.
And then you remember it's OKC.
Move!
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander attracting 2 defenders. Who does that leave open?
The guy that you shouldn't right now because he's on a heat check. He was making a mixtape last night.
Attacking the rim, getting that one to go. That's so pretty. Let's take one more look, Perk.
Come on.
Trust.
The glass.
He was feeling it. He said after the game he didn't even know that it was a 2-point game at one point.
That's when you're in the zone.
This is when you know you're feeling good.
This is when we do know. And this man is destined for greatness.
Don't give him the half wiggle.
Was cooking. He finished with 40 points. Here's J-Dub after his monster game.
I'd be lying if I said I could imagine doing what I did tonight, but I definitely could have seen myself here a long time ago. I just didn't think it would happen this fast. We won the game, so that was cool. I won't really have much of a reaction until we, handle business.
Yeah, he was really gutsy tonight. He stepped into big plays. I feel like every time he needed a shot, he made it. He wasn't afraid. He was fearless tonight. Whether they went in or didn't, and obviously tonight they went in more than they didn't. But he stepped into the plays with confidence for sure.
Did you think about wearing that hat to the show today, Perk? J-Dub's hat?
I mean, I'll try it.
He's giving Fresh Prince.
I kind of like it. Well, he also, on his way to this 40-point game, this is what it looked like. He got downhill, 18 paint points, most in a playoff game in his career. He also knocked down 3 3-pointers. What did you say before the game? You said there was a better chance of Jay-Z and Beyonce arriving on a dinosaur.
Yeah, walking onto the court with a dinosaur, then the Thunder losing that game.
Why did you have so much faith going in?
Because the two superstars, young rising stars or superstars, have figured the Pacers out, right? Jalen Williams and SGA. And Wendy, I'm going to pass the mic, but it seemed like every single game in this series, we're talking about one of these guys sitting at the table when it comes down to doing something great in the history of the NBA.
I'm going to go farther. I think this is a coronation. You look at games 4 and 5 with J-Dub and SGA showing that they are the ascendant duo in the NBA. They played completely differently in the 2 games. One game, it was J-Dub being the point guard, Shea being the guy playing off the ball. In this game, Shea goes back on the ball, and you've got J-Dub attacking. I see this going for years into the future.
Speaking of coronation, at this point of the NBA Finals, most moves and adjustments have been made, but then this is when we start to witness champions being born, and we saw a championship run when it was around 8 minutes to 5, 18-4, and it starts with this play with SGA. You know, breakdowns lead to breakthrough. A defensive breakdown on the screen. Now SGA is breaking through, attracting 5 players defensively, and now it's just target practice for Lou Dort. The whole arena goes, Lou, and it sounds like a boo, but guess what? That is a 3, and it was a huge one. Again, look at how J-Dub was in his bag. Tough defensive assignment, spin move, and this is how great. 18 points in the paint, but this was not one of them. He was drifting off, taking the contact, and using the glass, but it was on both ends because watch, J-Dub is actually guarding Miles Turner on this possession, keeps him in front. They hawk the ball. SGA is able to get the steal based off of the deflection right here, and now they're off to the races, and that converts into an and one, son. Again, these are the types of moments when your back's against the wall. We saw the Pacers coming at them in waves and waves, even though they weren't 100%, and they responded, in my big brother's words, in grand fashion.
I'm not just saying this because we were sitting in the neighborhood of Bricktown, but brick by brick, these are the moments that really build a championship. When you look back, you're going to say, okay, these are the little things that these guys did where they graduated again from rising stars in this league to eventual champions. We got a lot to get to still on this show around the association because playoff contenders, no. The Magic, they're talking about being true contenders for next season. Let's hear finals, so let's get back to it here because we are live at the Paycom Center where the Thunder, they can feel it. They're now just 1 win away from winning their first title here in Oklahoma, and it was a really special night for J-Dub. He dropped 40, all flats, right, Perk?
Yeah.
Let's take a look back at the last 3 players who dropped 40-plus in a finals win, starting with Giannis. He scored 50 in Game 6 to clinch the 2021 finals. That's also tied for the most points in a finals clincher in NBA history. And then the next year, the Warriors faced a 2-1 deficit, and that's when Steph Curry, he went off 43.7 threes to tie the series up. The 7 threes are tied for the 3rd most in a finals game, and Golden State went on to win that series. It actually reminds me in some ways of this one. And then last night, J-Dub, he scored a playoff career high, 40 points to lead the Thunder to a pivotal Game 5 win. He did it in just 35 minutes. That's the fewest in a finals 40-point game since minutes were tracked. Some would say he's standing on something.
This my camera.
That's going to be your camera.
Standing on business. You better stand on business. Stand on business. Hell yeah, we standing on business today. Standing on business. He did just that. That boy stood on business last night. He been standing on business all series long, especially the last 3 games, and I'm talking about J-Dub. That gave me Scottie Pippen vibes, 1991 vibes. You talking about Game 5, NBA Finals, biggest stage, and you go out there, you hang a 40-piece, right? I already think Scottie Pippen is the best Robin of all time. This was one of those games right here where your Robin showed up. And look at Scottie back in the day. You see him? Scottie Pippen back in the day. Look up, Malika, because you was young. I don't even think you remember this moment. Rock the crater right here. But when you think about Robins and you think about what SGA needed, we asked all year long who was going to be that bona fide number 2, rise to the occasion. Was it going to be J-Dub? Was it going to be SGA? he has finally came up and stepped up to the plate. That guy is a certified number 2 option, 1B on this team.
Tim, you've been covering this team all year long, and you were hearing and sometimes asking the questions to J-Dub about, can you do it? Can you do it consistently? Can you be that guy? What did he show you last night?
I mean, it was a statement performance. It's been a statement postseason run ever since he went through the worst 3-game shooting funk of his career in that Denver series. You remember 10
Gotta have that funk.
over 3 games. Big time Game 7. Hey, they got blown out in Minnesota last in Game 3. How's he respond? Then playoff career high 34. Last night, I got to have it. Pivotal game high 40. And the thing about J-Dub is the Pippen comparison isn't just that he can be that 1B. It's that he does everything. He can facilitate. He can guard 1 through 5. The man started at center in some games this year. I mean, rebounding, slashing. Whatever they need for this guy to help them win, J-Dub can do it.
He has a storybook run from his days in Santa Clara. This is a 3-star. This wasn't Perk coming out of high school. No D1 offers. It was Iona and Santa Clara, and he ended up going to Santa Clara. And it took 3 years for him to be a true NBA prospect. He was 52nd going into his junior year, and then boom, now he's in a lottery pick. I remember going to see him play his freshman year. I wasn't thinking anything NBA about this kid.
Yeah.
But for him to be doing what he's doing, it's an incredible motivational story for a lot of mid-major kids out there.
I had a chance to sit down with him before Game 5, and I asked him, what is the one thing that nobody sees but that you still wear that influences the way that you play? And he told me losing last year. He told me that he couldn't fully describe the feeling of having everybody expect them to do it, to get there, and to let himself down and other people down. And he has been wearing and thinking of that feeling ever since he wasn't able to complete the mission. And that has driven so much of his work this year to say, you know what, everyone believed in me and I let myself down. Now I'm going to go out and show you what I've always known that I'm capable of. Do you think, Mark, that are we coming back here? It's
absolutely not.
All right, but that's what.
So.
But we've had so much fun.
Can I ask you this though? If he has another big game, could he be MVP?
No.
Finals MVP? No. It'll be an uphill battle with Shea in the mix. Shea's had just an incredible season. Yeah. But if we're not coming back here, and I don't know whether we are or not, it's been awesome to spend some time in Oklahoma City here, to get to know the people here in Oklahoma City who have been nothing short of exceptional. And there's one, I'm going to say young man here in this arena, a security guard, and his name is Coach Mack. And he has been so welcoming to all of us. He's actually been the security guard who has stood outside of our green room every single day, and his story is incredible. Our Mark Spears has more.
Okay, look like my bus is here, guys. Bus 1's coming, guys. Bus 1. Shay, how you doing, Uncle Shay? There he is. Let's do it. Yes, sir. Styling and profiling. All right, big fella, let's do it. Coach Matt, but I just get a good relationship with those young men. It's just kind of rewarding to them. There's somebody here that takes them under their wing, you know. I like that jacket, player. Woo. Nobody ever forgets Coach Mack.
You wear Coach Mack as your name tag. So when you took the job here, did your name tag always say Coach Mack?
It had Marvin. I said, oh, what the? No, we got to fix this. That's me, but it's not me. So they said, what do you want to do? I said, put Coach Mack on there. Thank you very much. Coach Mack. Brother, how are you? So, Coach. Well. Coach. And we've been riding with Coach Mack for many moons, and we'll continue to ride with Coach Mack.
Marvin Mack's name tag that reads Coach Mack is a reminder of his life before becoming a security guard in the NBA.
My background in basketball, I played high school ball in Guthrie, Oklahoma. Guthrie Blue Jays, state champs in 1968. Then got recruited to Langston University, which is HBCU.
Mack played college basketball at Langston University from 1969 to 1973. In the early 1980s, Mack officially became Coach Mack as a high school girls basketball coach in OKC.
Frederick Douglass High School, I was the girls coach there, 80-81 up until 05.
Coach Mack's first NBA team was the New Orleans Hornets when they temporarily moved to Oklahoma City after Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Now 20 years later, Coach Mack remains in these halls, still greeting players before every home game.
I currently hold a position of security for the visiting team, so I've got the best of both worlds. It's all good in the neighborhood, baby. Yeah, good to see you. Yes, sir. You too. I show love on this side of the hallway, show love even more on the opposite side of the hallway. And all those kids just embrace me. All right,
Coach Mack, you good?
Yes, sir.
People like Coach Mack. They're like a breath of fresh air. He's happy to be there, happy to hold the door for you.
All right, got your hands are full. I take it. Yeah, okay, thank you. You bet.
He's a big part of what we do.
My Jay, come on in. Keep them encouraged, baby. And be ready when you go.
Coach Mack also isn't afraid to offer some friendly coaching advice when he feels it's needed.
Yes, sir.
When I first got here, everybody was calling him coach, and I didn't really know why. But like the more that I come into the arena, he's like always like giving me like little like tips about the game.
Yeah, he'll pop me with some advice from time to time, and I take note. I think he treats everybody with respect and dignity, and I think he's a great presence.
What would a championship mean to you?
Oklahoma City won't be the same if we pull this thing off. I just love what I do. I guess everybody knows Coach Mack all across the country. Not bragging, it's just that when you show love to people, people show love back.
Oh, Coach Mack is just so special, and he has been so lovely and wonderful and welcoming into us, and he was so excited to show his wife this feature as well, which I just love. But Mark, in talking to him, there was one story, right, that stood out to you. What was that?
Well, you saw the brief picture of Kobe Bryant, April 11th, 2016. Kobe Bryant plays his last game in Oklahoma City in this building. After the game, Coach Mack gets a tap on the shoulder. Hey, Kobe Bryant wants to take a picture with you. Like, what? He said he's been chronicling his season, his last season, and he wants to take a picture with you. And he said that's the greatest moment of his hallway career.
I love it, that it's not Coach Mack wanting to take a picture with Kobe. It's Kobe wanting to take one with Coach Mack. I would have thought the greatest moment of his career was getting one with Perk, but I would say that Kobe Bryant is right up there, too.
Perk, but he said he remembers yelling at your older boys in the hallway.
There you go. Well, Coach Mack, we wish you all the best if we don't come back here to Indy. Coming up, a healthy Caitlin Clark, though, and the Fever showed everyone they can compete with the best, but can they ascend to a true championship slag? He has his one and only pre-draft workout today with the Dallas Mavericks in Dallas. Several players, GM Nico Harrison, they were all in attendance for this workout that was a light workout, right? And who better to report on the future #1 pick than our Tim McMahon. Howdy, Tim. What are you hearing about how this workout went?
Howdy, Malika. Look, like you said, this is not a workout in the sense of an evaluation or a tryout.
Sure.
This is a get to know you. Hey, check out our facilities.
A practice.
This is going to be your locker. You know,
first date when you know you're getting married type deal.
Yes, exactly, that sort of thing. And obviously they're excited about Cooper Flagg, the buzz about Cooper Flagg. I'm told Jason Kidd sees shades of another Duke guy in Cooper Flagg, a guy who Jay Kidd shared the Rookie of the Year award with, Grant Hill. Cooper Flagg's really going to have a chance, especially early in the season when Kyrie Irving's out, to play a point forward type of game. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot, and you know, Jay Kidd thinks that he can facilitate, he can be a ball in the hand kind of primary guy offensively as a teenage rookie.
He has impressed sort of every step along the way here, but I think back to last summer, right? Team USA camp, and hearing from Anthony Davis and LeBron James, how impressed they were with this young man, that stands out to me. But Mark, you were actually there. Yeah,
no, the coaching staff loved him. They thought he was coachable. He asked a lot of questions. He peppered the vets with questions. He was not intimidated. They just thought that he was the best player there, which is saying a lot. Not in terms of USA team, but the JV team, you the better player there and you're 17 years old? That's not supposed to be possible.
He's the youngest player in the draft and has that type of maturity. I'm really excited.
Well, I saw it last year when they was in the McDonald's All-American game. I was there, and you remember, he reclassed up. Right, you got most guys reclassing the other way, right? He reclassed up, and I just saw like how he was carrying himself. It was like, nah, I know I'm the youngster in here, but I still feel like I'm him. And that was in the McDonald's game with Harper and Trey Johnson and those guys, and you know, so again, he always had that old soul. Looking forward to it.
And the NBA draft is sort of the next big event on the